And this is going to come with all the previous content and expansions, as well as a big box solution to store everything with dividers and space for future expansions as well. And this is also going to introduce a brand new 15 card All-Star expansion. But if you're not familiar with this game, this is a competitive game where each player is going to be getting a deck of cards representing their team, and there's going to be some starter cards in that deck, but you will be able to purchase more cards as the game goes on and improve your deck with more powerful cards. But each player in this game is going to have their own personal player board with a baseball diamond on it. And each game, player is going to be drawing 6 cards into their hand from their deck. And then you're going to be playing that game with those 6 cards, taking turns playing 1 card to the center of your board. These cards can have a whole variety of effects on them, but then underneath the ability, you're going to see a number of bases that card can potentially take. If you see multiple of these on a single card, that actually means that you get to put that number of batters out on your board. So for example, if you were to play this card that has 2 singles on it, you're going to be putting 2 batters out on home base. And then if your opponent does nothing about that before your next turn, they're both going to be moving up, taking a single base. But since you can never have 2 players on the same base, one is going to be pushing the other forward, allowing you to actually move one of those players 2 bases. And this is where a lot of the strategy comes into play, because you might have also noticed that some of these pawns do show up in different colors, and these represent how fast that pawn is at running. The white are the slowest and the red are the fastest, and each of the cards will indicate which type of pawn that you get to put on your board. And since the base can only be occupied by a single pawn, anytime that a pawn moves into a base with another pawn, it's going to be pushing that pawn forward, which can cause cascading effects. So if you do get one of your fast pawns behind one of your slow pawns, that's pretty much the perfect situation, because your slow pawn's going to be moving as fast as your fast pawn, since that pawn's always going to be pushing it forward. And if you're wondering what exactly makes the red pawns faster than the white ones, well, the white ones just move the amount that's dictated by the card, whereas the red ones always get an additional base. But once all the players have played all of their cards, you're going to be seeing which player scored the most runs, and then that player is going to be winning that game. And then you're going to be moving this token forward on the game's 1 track, and then the first player to get to 4 games won wins the game. But like I said, between each game, you'll be able to purchase more cards to add into your deck. And the way that works is that you're going to be taking all the cards that you played and then adding up the amount of income that those cards grant you. And then that's the amount that you'll have to spend to purchase new cards. If you're wondering what sort of things the extra expansions add, I did look through most of them, and they're going to be adding all sorts of different cards with new abilities and effects. But there's also an expansion that allows you to increase the player count. And there's also an expansion that adds manager cards that grant a one-time use powerful special ability for each of the players to use at some point during their games. I couldn't find any info on the actual All-Stars expansion, so if you do want to know what the new expansion is going to be added to the game, you have to check out the campaign, and I will have it linked in the description below.